Have you ever reached for your EQ to add a little presence to your vocal, or maybe some detail to a guitar, or maybe a little bottom to the snare drum, and no matter what you do, it doesn't work. It sounds pointy, it sounds annoying, it's not the result you're looking for, so you ditch that EQ. And then you start to wonder, why? Why is that? I feel like I'm doing the right things, and the result is just not what I want. Most of the time, the problem isn't the approach. It's the tool that you're using. It just doesn't respond in a musical way. Years ago, when I was working at my first commercial studio, back in the racks, all the way at the bottom, like covered in dust, were these old German EQs that no one paid attention to. One day I plugged them in to give them a try, and it was like magic. No matter what I did, it all sounded great. I couldn't do anything wrong with this EQ. I could boost the mids as loud as I wanted. It didn't get harsh, it didn't get brittle. It remained musical. And that is what the Citral EQ does. So before we get into all the nitty-gritty, nerdy details, I'm going to show you where I actually use this EQ. We'll start with how I use the shelves on kick, bass, overheads, and vocals. Then I'll show you how I use the 3 mid-range filters to add body to something without honk, how to make quick overall tonal decisions on a source, and also how to clean up things without killing the vibe. Different sources require different decisions, but we can do it all with this one plugin. All 3 of the Citral EQs share the same top and bottom shelves. Same tone, the same behavior, the same curves, and honestly, these do a lot of the work, which is probably why they based all 3 designs on those shelves. Let's start with the drum bus. All right, let's start with the kick drum. Check this out. I mean, that's a lot of low end. That's 12 dB of low end on the bass. And it still sounds tight. It still sounds large without getting flabby. It's really awesome. And now check out the top end on the cymbals. Right, no matter how much I crank it, it's not getting brittle, it's not getting harsh, it just adds air and remains pleasant. Next, let's bring in a bass guitar. We can see how we can use this EQ to make them work together. The first thing I'm going to do is switch the low frequency up to 100 Hertz, because that's where I feel like this bass is going to live. Right, listen to that. It's still, I mean, it's a lot of low end, but it's never too much. It never sounds bad. I mean, listen to that. I love how that sounds. The bottom end is huge on both of these guys. They work together. They're not fighting each other. There's a space for each of them, and again, still remains musical. Next, let's see what the high shelf can do on a vocal.
Big James gone. Don't matter now. It's over, I say.
Oh, that sounds so good.
No turning around.
That sounds wonderful. I love what that's doing. It's not harsh, it's not sibilant. And at this point, you can really stop thinking about numbers, how many dB it is. It's using your ears, listening to what it sounds like. You can never go too far with this. Oh, and by the way, if there's something you always wondered about how I approach things, a sound, a mix decision, whatever it is, just drop it in the comments. I'll pull from those for the next videos. So that covers the shelves, and they are the same for all 3 models. So let's move on to what actually differentiates them, which is the mid-range. Let's start with the original design. It's a boost-only EQ, and it may sound limiting until you can hear what it actually does. So I'm going to boost a bit of 700 Hertz with this. Yeah, low gain. This is a really wide bandwidth. This is almost like a volume control. And as you turn it up, it gets more narrow. And something around 4 dB is perfect for this vocal, right? We have the body, we have the thickness, and you can hear it. What this does is it adds a largeness, it adds a size to this vocal without getting muddy. That's going to help it really compete with all these other instruments. And this works just as well on acoustic guitar. Check this out. There you go. That's exactly what this guitar needs. It's more present. It brings it up front. It's going to sound great in this mix. And that's what this EQ is about. It's about enhancing what's already there. You know, we're not trying to fix a problem. We're trying to take things that we already love about this and making them more upfront. Now this one swaps out the mid-range boost with a tilt EQ. What this does is boosts one side while it cuts the other around a fixed point. So you can add more treble and cut bass at the same time, or vice versa. And this is really good for quick tonal decisions. So let's put it on a full mix and see what happens. So you can hear as I'm turning this down, our mix is getting darker, but it's also getting bigger, right? We're cutting the top, we're adding some more bottom, and vice versa. If we turn this up, gonna get a more present mix, a more in-your-face mix. And these are really broadband decisions. This is not like an obvious EQ move. This is like shaping the tonal spectrum of this song with one knob. And this works on individual tracks as well. Check it out on a piano. All right, so with this tilt, we can make it brighter or we can make it more round, either way. And now check out what it does in the mix. All right, so you can see just by turning this up, we can make it stick out a bit more in the mix, and turning it down, it blends in a little bit more with the music. And finally, the most flexible version of them all. This is the same Citral sound, but we have more frequencies in the mid-range and the ability to cut. So let's see what it can do. Check it out on the electric guitar. So you can see we have a few more frequency points in the mid-range here, which is great for dialing in some mid-range presence. But we also have the ability to cut. So now we can dial out some of that nasally mid-range from this guitar as well. And then to sweeten it up, we can add some bottom and top to it to give it that nice smiley face curve. Now onto a different source, but the same idea. Let's go back to that bass guitar from before and see if we can dial in some presence. So what I'm looking for is to add a bit more mid-range clarity. I need this bass to stick out on top of the electric guitars. Perfect. Now I can hear the detail of that bass on top of that huge arrangement. So before we wrap this up, I just wanted to go through why this plugin sounds the way that it does. We are not just copying the EQ curves. We're actually simulating the entire circuit. This is very important because the entire circuit is interconnected. Resistors can affect capacitors, capacitors can affect the inductors, and everything influences everything in a subtle way. And where this is really apparent is on a stereo source. When you're working with a digital EQ, the left and right sides are exactly the same. And that just doesn't happen in the real world. Since we are simulating the entire circuit, we can adjust the variance of each component. That will change the response of this unit from left to right that we would perceive as being more analog. And if you're really into the nerdy circuit stuff, let me know. I'm happy to go way deeper in a follow-up. So here's how you should think about it. The W295 is an enhancement unit, big musical boosts. It's just meant to make things sound better. The W295A is about balance and placement, very fast decisions, and overall tone. And W295B is the most flexible. It's about getting rid of your problems and boosting the stuff you love. If you're the kind of mixer that likes making bold moves and you want to trust your ears more than looking at numbers on the screen, this EQ was made for you. Try it on drums, try it on vocals, try it on your entire mix bus, and just listen to how far you can actually push it. And if you want more videos like this, just hit subscribe. We'll keep breaking down how this stuff actually gets used in real mixes.